Welcome to What a Creep, the show with Margot Donohue and Sonia Mansfield talking about creeps from the past to the present.
This is your quick guide to the biggest creeps, jerks, assholes, and losers, the best of the worst.
From two nice ladies who want the world to be a little less creepy.
Okay, 5, 4. Welcome back to What a Creep. This is Margot Donohue, and my cohort in creepitude, as always, is the amazing Sonia Mansfield. Hey, Sonia.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. This is kind of a different week than what we normally do. We are the podcast that talks about creeps from the past to the present, but we're giving you today because it's going to be Memorial Day weekend when this comes out, and Sonia will be in San Diego to catch Lizzo in concert.
No big deal. No big deal. Just hopping on a plane to go see my friend Lizzo. No, no. I paid for tickets like everyone else.
So we decided. I'm sorry. So we decided to create like a bonus episode, but like a regular episode. That's sort of like what you get when you get Patreon. This week for your second Patreon episode, which you get to every month, bonus episodes, we put up Alec Baldwin, which is what we recorded that just before the Rust movie shooting. This is back when he only had 5 kids, as somebody noticed. Listen to the episode. So that is on Patreon, by the way. If you want to sign up for Patreon, put out 2 bonus episodes. I'm going to put up some more stuff behind the Iron Curtain next week. I keep saying that, but I am. I really am.
Yes, she is.
Okay, so you can follow us on Facebook, but that is just a place where people go to complain about our language. We are a salty language program, just warning you right now if this is your first time. If you checked out the title and you're just wondering, yes, we do use salty language.
Yeah, fucking deal with it.
We do have a private Facebook group. That's where we are the most interactive. And we talk about creeps in the past to the present there. We just talk about pop culture news, things like that. But you do have to answer a few questions before you can just boogie on in. Mm-hmm. But that's an option. We are also on Twitter. Now, as long as Twitter... Right now, we're missing a big announcement on Twitter from our former creep, Elon Musk. And today's creep... Ron DeSanctimonious, or Meatball Ron, as I like to call him.
So both of them so icky.
The both of them suck. But we're on there at CreepPod because somebody had What a Creep on Twitter for over 10 years and never used it.
Creep.
We're on Instagram, What a Creep Podcast. Please follow us there. And we have an old-timey email if you're interested in sending us a note or if you would like some stickers. We're at What a Creep Podcast, spell it all out, at gmail.com. We got some cute stickers. We'll drop them in the mail for you. Sonia, do you want to tell them about the website?
Yes, you can go to whatacreeppodcast.com and it's everything you ever wanted to know about our podcast, but we're afraid to ask. It has links to all of our past episodes. And in each of those posts are show notes where we source every single thing we're talking about. We don't make this shit up. We want to give credit where credit is due. So if you want to do a deeper dive on anything we're talking about, that's a great place to start because we source everything. There's also a link to our merch shop. So if you want merch, we've got t-shirts and tote bags, journals, face masks, all the stuff. You can get that stuff there. And there's Patreon, which you kind of already told them about, but do we want to tell them anything more about it?
Yes, I'd like to thank Leah, or if it's Lee, it's Elia, for signing up for Patreon. My sister used to go by the nickname Lee, but she spelled it Elia because... my sister. Anyway, but Lee, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We put out 2 bonus episodes a month. Our first 8 seasons are up on the Patreon wall. 8! Oh my God. And lots of big fat creeps there for your creepy juiciness. Also, something we've done in the last few days, Sonia's been up on something really interesting.
I created our Substack. So it used to be we sent out a bonus newsletter and we've decided to move it all to Substack. So if you signed up for Patreon and you gave us your email address, then I've already uploaded your email address to Substack. So you're all set. Once that is officially published, like even if you're not Patreon, you could sign up to get it. We are going to be adding some more stuff to that, like some stuff from our other podcast, Dorking Out, like our recs and things like that. So get on board.
We can't wait to get that out to you. We really are excited about that. Also, if you want to help out the show, you can leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. This is from iTunes Reviews. I want to thank Jax and Kay Gallant for leaving us 5-star reviews. We really, really appreciate it. It helps us out so much. Also, Spotify for leaving reviews. At Good Pods, we're on the top 10 for Good Pods for a number of weeks now. Thank you. And let's just get into it. Normally, we present a creep, and then the other person, we take turns doing that, and then the other person has to come up with somebody who's a non-creep. But today, the day that we're recording this, sad to say, I mean, this breaks my heart. And we knew it was going to happen.
Yes.
But Ms. Tina Turner passed away today at the age of 83. She had a hell of a life going on for her. She's been through so much. We did talk about her ex-husband and his...
Yeah, we did. Ugh.
His antics, his horribleness. We put that link into the show notes if you want to check that out. But I'd rather just kind of focus on how amazing she was. She was somebody who was truly a survivor and truly overcame just about every kind of horrible circumstance you could be born with and then have to deal with well into your 30s and still keep at it.
Simply the best, just like her song. Her music is fucking dope. Like, she was an amazing performer. Like, go back and watch like concert footage of Tina Turner. She was the shit. And I think she knew like how much she meant to people. And I hope that she felt like we as a society appreciated her the way she deserved to be. I think sometimes we wait until it's too late. Like, someone like Prince dies and then everyone's like, I love Prince. And it's like, we all should have been worshiping Prince when he was still here. And, I hope that she all knew how much people loved her and how much her music meant to people. And don't wait until people died. So don't wait until people die in general, like the people in your life, but also don't wait for these artists whose work impacts you. So your Stevie Wonders and your Elton Johns, sing their praises now.
Watch them now if you can. Go to those concerts. That's what I'm saying. Yes. If you've always meant to see somebody and they start going out on tour, get the money and go. Get the babysitter. Also, just do what you got to do.
I don't want people to think I just somehow jinxed Elton John and Stevie Wonder. So I love them. And these are the kinds of people like Paul McCartney, the kind of people that we're thinking about, like that their music means so much to them. You love them so much. And so I'm not going to say anything else because I'll just make it worse.
She's wonderful.
She's so great.
She's wonderful. And HBO, which became HBO Max, which is now Max, the dumbest branding decision in all of media history. Like, Quibi, I thought was bad.
This is so stupid. Like, why you would take a brand, a good brand like HBO. It's not TV, it's HBO. Like, HBO means something to people. Max means nothing to people. Sorry, Max. My dog is looking at me. I don't mean you. Damn it, Max. But the name change is because some fucking suit was like, I want to make my impression. I'm going to make my impact at this company by changing it from HBO to HBO Max to Max. It's so dumb, which by the way, apparently has nothing to do with Cinemax. Which, by the way, I totally thought HBO Max was like, because HBO merged with Cinemax. No, it didn't. Like, it's unrelated.
It's one of the dumbest decisions, and apparently, I watched it last night. I turned on and it turned over right away. I logged in very easily, but apparently, if you look up the information, they just started writing creators. They don't write directors or writers.
Yes, I wonder why. They're not
listing the people who did the actual work, and it's just so damn infuriating. It's
so shitty. It's so shitty. And, I could probably do a whole episode about why I think Chat GPT is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But I find it frustrating that things like this get created and immediately it's like, how can we remove writers from the process? It's, as someone who works as a writer, I find this very frustrating, obviously. And I just want to throw this out there. I could use ChatGPT to write code. So engineers and developers, you're not safe. Just saying.
Exactly.
Join us. Join us, engineers and developers.
Yeah, think about that.
Yes.
I brought it up because on HBO, when it was called HBO Max last year, on Max, I hate that so much, but they have a documentary about Tina Turner, that came out within the last year. It's fantastic. It's really good. She is a phenomenal human being. She was a phenomenal human being. And she, like I said, for all the shit she put up with in her life, a very abusive husband, a very racist industry that was ready to throw her aside and throw her away, and she just kept at it. I mean, you want to just think about somebody you should admire, think about her. And I love her because she moved to Switzerland with her like $80 million and just like looked at the lake, had a hot younger husband, and just, lived her life.
Good for her. Which
is the dream for all of us. So R.I.P. our queen. And I think that's the best way to start a show because, but now it's going to go downhill.
Sorry, everyone. It's all creeps from here on out.
Top of the creeps here is Delia. God, we've talked about this asshole like 4 times in the last 2 years.
We did a whole episode about comedy creeps, and he was in there. And that was before things started going real public. And now it's like real public. Very common knowledge, and yet this creep is still fucking touring.
Yes.
Still getting gigs. I don't understand it.
He's got a very popular TikTok channel. He's got podcasts. And by the way, y'all want to listen to his podcast? That's between you two. You know what I mean? You can download something or not. For him to go on tour, to go to a club, means he's going to be interacting with the staff there, and he's just a known pederast. But abusive to women.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
You're just kind of like, oh, well, what's the big deal? 10 women coming forward, and several of them on the record, and that's a big deal to go on the record and put your name in there, especially in the world we live in today where people can type your name into anything.
Yeah, and people come after you and you get targeted by these fucking trolls, so they don't make it easy for people to come forward and tell their stories. And here's 10 women willing to, if there's 10, that means there's a lot more.
There's a shitload more. And we have your back, understand that we have your back. We believe you. We're on your side. And we will be on social media. I'm looking at his tour dates, and if I'm going to be talking to these outlets.
Yes.
I will tweet at them harshly.
Yes, we will also tweet at you. Yes. There is like a pretty active group on Facebook, I think, of people that like to tweet to these venues. And it's sad that these venues very often turn off replies because they know what they've done and they just don't care. So they turn off the replies, or my favorite, they purposely misspell his name so that if you're searching Twitter for him, it doesn't come up. I'm like, oh my God, you fucking cowards. Like, if you're going to book a sexual abuser, like, and cash in on that, like,
be honest about it.
Beyond, like, you need to, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You need to deal with the repercussions of that. The fucking cowards. They're so shitty.
Yeah.
It's garbage. It's garbage.
Well, speaking of garbage. I didn't think that there was anything that we get people who are big Trump fans who don't always like our stances on things.
And by not always, meaning always.
Right.
They don't like anything we stand for. They hate our fucking guts and they leave us 1-star reviews.
But I would say that this is something we might unite with them. There might be hope in the Middle East yet, because we all fucking hate Ron DeSantis.
What?
Oh my God.
Person.
I mean, I hate him for my reasons, and maybe they hate him for different reasons. I will say something we can both agree on. He's trying to rip off. He's cosplaying Trump.
Yes.
Because he has no personality.
None.
He has no charm.
None.
No wit.
Say what you will about Trump. At least, like, he's got some jokes.
Yes.
Sometimes they don't work. And when I say sometimes, I mean most of the time, actually. Most of the time they don't work. But occasionally, dude busts out a funny joke. Ron DeSantis has got none of that. None of it.
He has no charm. He makes people feel awkward. Because he has no ability. He just shows he doesn't give a shit who's in front of him. He imitates his hand gestures just like Trump to talk like him. He's just Ron. He calls him Meatball Ron, which that's my favorite. But also Ron Sanctimonious. But I don't think he understands what sanctimonious means. But
no, he doesn't understand what that means. I mean, Ron DeSantis is almost like if ChatGPT wrote Donald Trump.
Yes, he's the ChatGPT version.
Yeah,
of
he's
Trump.
like generic. He's like generic Trump.
Yeah, he's bizarre.
Knockoff. He's knockoff Trump.
What he's done for the state of Florida has been, I mean, and Republicans are supposed to be the party about business and money, and no government, and they want government to. They banned a poetry book by a young girl who was at the inauguration.
Amanda Gorman.
Yes, for President Biden. There's you can go on TikTok now, and it's librarians in Florida, school librarians who are like telling you these are the pile of books they're telling us we can't put in our library shelves, and it's astonishing. It's just any jackass can go to a school meeting and says, "Oh well, the Anne Frank, who needs to know about this? Who needs to know about,
I need to know the both sides of the Holocaust,
Nazism."
Yeah, fuck these people.
And it's
seriously fuck these people.
It's appalling. So their education's going down. He can't help but piss off Disney. Disney, which has been in Florida for how many decades with a very nice arrangement, bringing a lot of work and a lot of tourists.
Yes, a lot of tourism to Florida and a lot of jobs. And
they took care of the grounds. They took care of the post, like everything. Like, we'll take care of all this shit. And that was the deal. And Ron DeSantis is like, no, we're really going to go in on drag queens or, his reasons. But it was because they made fun of him that he had to really kind of double down like a child.
Yes.
And he doesn't have any couth. He wants an Ayatollah in charge, apparently, basically. Like
It's all of this, like the book banning, it's like a crusade against quote unquote wokeism. It's, taking over like liberal arts colleges and putting in like all these like conservative nutbags. And like, there's also his anti-gay, anti-trans legislation that's making it dangerous for people to live there. It's denying people health care that need it. It's taking away children from, it's not just about like, he's passing laws that ban gender affirming care for children, which by the way, isn't necessarily a thing that's happening. Like, people aren't like taking their 6-year-olds in and having them like,
and puberty blockers or anything. No,
it's not a thing that's happening. That's not happening. But it's also like taking children away from trans parents.
Right.
Like, it's fucked up what's going on in Florida. It's scary.
Right.
What they're describing. And was it the NAACP has actually issued like travel warnings? Like,
I think it was maybe ACLU, but it was because June is Pride Month around the world. And there's a lot of gay people that live in Florida. There are a lot of gay sections. And there's cities that can't have a pride parade, which has been going on for decades. Sponsored. Like, it's a fun day. You don't want to go, don't go. Like, just let
Yeah.
people be. That should be your party, is letting people be, but it's not. And it's making people unsafe.
It is. It's absolutely making people unsafe. And on that same note, these, anti-trans, anti-gay these bigots basically are going into Targets and they're like harassing the employees and threatening the employees of Target because they, as they do every year, by the way, sell like pride
Clothes.
like clothes and like,
Stuff.
just
Banners
stuff like
and stuff.
fucking
Yes.
banners and flags and mugs and whatever. And so these people are going in, they're threatening the employees. So like Target's like, okay, like we're going to pull some of the stuff off the shelf now because they're saying it's because they're afraid for their employees. And maybe that's it. Also, like Target sells this kind of stuff every year.
Right.
And, these people are like, they're grooming children. I'm like, fuck you.
No.
Fuck you. That is not happening.
No.
And Target's always been for the gays. Fuck you. Go shop at Walmart. That's where you belong. Go shop at Walmart. Leave the Targets alone. Targets are for the gays and me.
We just found out in Chicago, and me, in Chicago, the diocese, is that how you say that? The church, the Catholic Church in Chicago, also decades of child abuse that went on. All these Catholic churches across the country, all these pastors across the country,
not drag queens
that are grooming children. I mean, it's coaches, wrestling coaches, Jim Jordan, lots of people, know about it or they're doing it. And that's the shit that we should all be enraged about. And that's what we should be working on versus attacking somebody for selling rainbows, stuff on a coffee mug.
This is the stuff they always do. It's this when these bigots, when people on the right bust out their culture wars, it's because they have no ideas. These people, I'm going to say I use the term these people, can't even win elections fairly. They are trying to gerrymander districts. They're trying to make it harder for people to vote. They're trying to restrict, young people from like getting information so that they can vote. It's because they don't have any ideas. And then they just use things like this to scare like older people into like voting for them. It's so fucked up. It's so frustrating. And they're targeting some of our most vulnerable citizens, and that's what it just makes me very, very angry.
Yeah.
Very angry. And I also, along the same topic, I had put in our show notes about how the Dodgers were having, like, by the way, every Major League Baseball team has like a pride night. Like they all do. And every year, like some baseball fan, they get all shitty about it and they go to the team's Facebook page. I'm not going to the gay pride night because when straight pride night is fuck off with that shit. But so the Dodgers were having their pride night and they invited the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, which is a long running like activist group, and they dress as nuns and they do a lot of activism and they do a ton of charity work, by the way. One of the first like groups to like raise money for AIDS research and all this stuff. They are, but then someone like Marco Rubio, the Florida senator, was like, they're making fun of Catholics and they're an anti-Catholic group. And then the Dodgers were like, ooh, we don't want to offend people. So they uninvite the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. By the way, Marco Rubio's not even the senator for their state. Like, fuck you. Why are you listening to little Marco, as Trump likes to call him? Like, what the fuck? And of course, like all the gay organizations in California were like, fuck you. Like, we're not going. Why are you doing a pride night if it's just a cash grab to you? Fuck you. And then the Dodgers have reinvited the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, and they're going to go because they're like, this is a teachable moment.
Yes.
And they're going to go. And I'm glad that they're doing that. It's bullshit that it even happened, and it made the Dodgers look like stupid assholes. But as a San Francisco Giants fan, I kind of always think the Dodgers are stupid assholes. So take that what you will.
Let's go a little, oh God, this guy. Greg Gutfeld, who's one of the biggest stars of Fox News and apparently a comedian.
He's one of their biggest stars because they fired all the other ones.
Did you hear that Fox went to Tucker's house in Maine and just took down he basically had a studio in Maine and they paid for it. Yeah. And so they sent people up there and took down every single piece of wood, piece of, fiber or whatever, to put a studio together. Like they want, and he's suing, and he'll probably get some money from them.
Did you see that they're also releasing leaking footage of Tucker Carlson saying assy things? Like
they've been waiting for that.
Yeah. He's calling all of his female viewers. He's like, I can't wait to hear what all the perimenopausal women who watch my show think or whatever. It's like, yeah, he fucking hates you.
Yes.
Guess what, viewers of Tucker Carlson?
Those are the younger ones, by the way, of your show. Please.
I was like, these viewers of Tucker Carlson, I'm like, he hates you. He has such disdain for you. That's why he talks the way he talks. That's why he covers the things he covers. He doesn't even probably believe half the shit that comes out of his mouth. He thinks you do because you're disgusting. That's what he thinks.
That's what he thinks. He's full of himself. Yes.
We were talking about great Greg Gutfeld.
And I don't know what is going on with women teachers sleeping with 13, 14-year-old boys. There's nothing grosser to me than a 14-year-old boy. I don't want to have a son.
First of all, that's that's statutory rape and it's fucking gross. It's sexual abuse is what it is. But also as a grown woman, what the fuck? That's disgusting. Like you said, teenage boys are gross.
They're disgusting. I have brothers. I mean, I dated teenage boys when I was a teenager. They're gross.
I went to a friend's house a couple of weeks ago and I was with my 11-year-old and my 11-year-old went into their teenage boy's room and he said, "It smells like beef and cheese in here." And I was like, "That'll be your room soon enough, son."
Get ready for it, Sonia. One of those monsters is going to be at your place.
Yes.
Anyway, there is a woman that had sex with, she's 38 and she had sex with a child. She's in trouble for it. And he said, is it unfair to compare female to male? Basically rape.
Yes.
A female, it's heroic because it's so great for a teenager to have sex with an older woman. I'm not saying they can't have fantasies about it. I'm not talking about anybody's fantasy life, but this goes back to 1998 when Bill Maher on Politically Incorrect, his show, and there was Mary Kay Letourneau, who was in her 30s when she was sleeping with a 12-year-old, got pregnant, was sent to jail, got out of jail, was banned from seeing him. He was 14 by this time, and she had another baby with him. And Bill Maher was like, what's the big deal? You can't rape a kid. How do you rape somebody? And Henry Rollins had to be like, it's called grooming, and you can manipulate a person, and that's not okay. But he seriously was shrugging his shoulders, like, what's the big deal?
How do you rape a teenage boy? He probably wanted to fuck her, blah, blah, blah. That's Bill Maher.
It's rape.
It's rape. It's disgusting. And for this gross man to be like, I don't know, seems like a pretty lucky kid to me. I'm like, gross. Yeah. What the fuck? Disgusting.
This is
can't wait for this.
The party of family values, of course.
Yes. Please
Alec,
vote for Ron DeSantis.
Run to sit that Meatball run with his little go-go boots. Remember that he was at the
oh my god,
the white boots.
So apparently Ron DeSantis. I don't know how tall Ron DeSantis really is. We could Google it, I'm sure. But he's
5'7".
He's
Trump
wearing
actually
boots.
tweeted that the other day.
Oh, did he? Trump's such a
or
prick.
social, whatever he is. Whatever.
I'm like, Ron DeSantis, just be the height you are. But like, he's doing a whole thing where like he's wearing these boots, like almost like the kind Prince used to wear. You know, they're like, they have like a big heel on them.
He's doing the Tom Cruise thing.
Yes, they do a lot of like forced perspective pictures to make him look. It's fucking stupid. It's so stupid. I'm like, just be as tall as you are, dude. It just shows you what a weak, thin-skinned little man baby he is, that he can't just own it. Just be like, yeah, I'm 5'7", but I've got fucking great ideas and a huge dick.
Right.
Like, just say that. But he doesn't even have the balls to do that. Instead he's like, no, man, I'm 5'11" and I have shit ideas and no dick. Like, that's what he's doing.
Did you read the thing? I read or heard it somewhere where he pronounced Thai food as thigh food. And if he went on a date with a girl and she said, no, it's Thai food, he would figure out a way to end the date because he will not be with a woman who corrects him.
Yes. What a fucking
weakling.
Child.
You're a weakling.
Who are these men? Sorry to our male listeners, but who are these men? Like, so awful.
Okay, Alec, speaking of awesome, real quick, Alec Murdaugh.
Yes.
South Carolina, the guy that killed his family except for one son. He was ripping off everybody in the process. On top of all that, he's been charged with 22 more federal charges of fraud.
Damn.
He lied about how his housekeeper died. He lied about the circumstances. He then took the money from the what am I thinking of the word?
The insurance
Thank
company.
you. Yes. So
I went on a deep dive on this one. Like, I watched every true crime talk about this fucking creep.
And unfortunately, like, he raised his kids terribly and just, I mean, horrible stories. January 6th rioter, the one that put his feet on the desk of Nancy Pelosi, just got 4.5 years in prison.
Oh, somebody fucked around and found out. So sad. Brr. Fuck these people.
Fuck around, find out. Wah.
Yeah, there's so many of these, like, January 6th insurrectionists are getting sentenced to jail time, and they can't fucking believe it. And they're just like, why didn't Trump come to our defense? Fuck you. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Fuck these people. That's it. The theme of this episode. Fuck these people.
And let's end it with short guy Tom Cruise. Because
I love this one.
Cracked me up when you sent this to me. Oops,
I love this.
Hold that thought.
Yes. Yep. One thing I have to read to you before we get into our Tom Cruise news.
Okay. Go for it.
So the Daily Mail headline right now is Ron's disaster. Utter chaos for DeSantis presidential election or presidential candidacy announcement as Twitter Spaces event with Elon Musk crashes repeatedly.
Maybe because Elon fired the whole Twitter Spaces team.
Yes.
Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe.
Ha ha. Let's talk about our last item here, which is apparently Shakira is like begging Tom Cruise to stop hitting on her. So I had heard this like last week or the week before. They're at some event and Tom Cruise sees Shakira's there and he's like, he swarmed her with like his people and there was like all these pictures were taken and immediately like his people then like release it and start insinuating that they are dating. And she's like, no, I'm not dating Tom Cruise. And now there's an item in Vulture that she's like begging him to stop hitting on her and to stop releasing statements that they're dating. She's like, these hips don't lie. And I'm not dating Tom Cruise.
Well, he's struggling. He's got a big movie coming out and he's worried.
He's got a big movie. He needs a lady to go to the premieres with him. And all the ladies are saying no. I'm like, oh, Tom, just go stag. It's okay.
Because you're a weirdo. And I'm sorry. I know you're wrong about, did a whole episode how we were wrong to judge Tom Cruise for the Oprah jumping the couch, sir, episode. No, we weren't. I'm telling you right now, we were fucking right to do that.
I
That
have
was
not
bizarre.
heard. I have not heard that episode.
Yeah.
I'm curious, why did they say we were wrong? Are they saying he was just really in love? And
He was really in love. If they go back to, and we do this too, they're trying to go back in time to give the context to the whole thing. This is all that was happening in the culture at the time.
Right.
This is before this, but after that, people do that all the time.
Yes.
And basically saying it was one of those things that it used to be somebody would behave weird and then it would just be in the papers the next day. Like, oh, somebody behaved weird, strangely. And maybe you'd have video of it or just audio or not, just a picture.
Right.
But nowadays, somebody could take a picture from your phone and put it up in 2 seconds, like you and I do all the time.
Yes.
So they're saying, like, people overreacted to this. And I'm saying, no. And Scientology's really fucked up and messed up. And Katie Holmes got the fuck out as soon as she could with the help of her divorce attorney father. He doesn't see his daughter, which makes him a piece of shit, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. And I do like Mission Impossible movies. I'm not going to lie.
Here's the thing. We can all agree. I think everyone agrees. Tom Cruise is a movie star.
Yes.
He is a legit movie star who goes all in on his movies. And I super appreciate that about Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise is a creep.
Yep.
But he does have charisma. And he is a movie star.
Yes.
Like, would I go on a date with Tom Cruise?
Yes.
I would go on one date with Tom Cruise.
Yes, just to tell people what it was like to go on one date with Tom Cruise.
And I bet he's a lovely date.
Yeah.
I'm sure he makes great eye contact. He will pick up the tab. He probably makes reservations. I like all of those things. He's also a creep.
I'm sure he has ideas. I'm sure he will laugh at my jokes.
I'm sure he would.
I'm sure he would.
He would be a great first date.
Yeah. And then people are like, why aren't you going to go out with me? Because you're like, he pulls that mask off at one point and there's no return. That's exactly
there's a weird old alien underneath.
And I don't believe, but maybe with him I would. I mean, Scientology is fucking creepy. We know this. It just is.
Yes.
And he's a part of it. And the fact that they're always trying to find him a chick and find somebody who's like established and has a life. Like, no, they're not going to put up with that.
She's too young for him.
How old is she?
She's like, what, in her 30s, maybe?
Alexa, how old is Shakira? 36.
Yeah, he's 60.
Yeah, well,
I think she's too young for him.
She's got her own stuff to deal with. I don't think
her own stuff. She doesn't need Tom Cruise.
She doesn't need Tom Cruise. And and that's all this. It's so weird to me that people still in show business like make people like have relationships and dates and all that crap for the press. I'm just like, can we just let people alone? Just let them be the stars and just do their thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's everything on our list.
Yeah. Well,
that's a good list.
It was a good list today. Thank you all so much for listening to us. Yes. And if you like the sound of our voices, not all of you probably did, but those of you that did, we also co-host a show where it's called Dorking Out, where we dork out about movies. And Sonia, what are we going to be talking about next?
We are going to be re-releasing our episode about the Pelican Brief, which did so fun because we had our friend Adam on from F This Movie. It's also his birthday week. So if you're listening, want to give a shout out to Adam for his birthday. He probably really appreciate that. But it's a really fun episode. So definitely take a listen. And then we'll be back next week with our regular episodes.
Yes, we will. So all those places that I mentioned at the top of the show, you can send us your ideas for creeps and non-creeps. We love it when you use the Annie Potts gift. We got one from Ghostbusters, or just do something clever on your own, or seriously, just send us an email. A lot of people just do that. whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. We look for creeps and for non-creeps, and we love your suggestions because you are all around the world, which is good for us to learn all this creepiness that exists in the universe. And Sonia, where can they find you?
You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and the TikTok. Where can people find you, Margot?
You can find me on Twitter at Brooklyn Margot. My Instagram and my site are Brooklyn Fit Chick, and I'm on TikTok at Margot Donohue, Donohue. Thank you all so much. Stay safe. Be good. Don't be a creep.
Creep.
Thank you for listening to us talk about creeps. You can follow us at What a Creep Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
But don't follow us too closely.
You can email us your creepy stories at whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com.
But please keep your dick pics to yourself.